इस्कॉन गुरु वृंद की जय। अनंत
जय
कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से
जय
कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री
जय
श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप
जय
मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय।
जय
जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय।
जय
समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय
जय
गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
हरे
All glories to assembled devotees.
हरे
All
कृष्णा
glories to assembled devotees.
हरे कृष्णा
All glories to assembled devotees.
हरे कृष्णा
All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 10. Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwaraka. We are going to read texts 34, 35 and 36 today. Yeah. Urujangala Panchalan Shurasenan Sayamunan Brahmavartam Kurukshetram Matsyan Sarasvatanatha Marudhanvam Atikramya Sauviraabhirayoparan Anartan Bhargavopagach Shrantavaho Managvibuhu Kurujangala Panchalan Shurasenan Sayamunan Brahmavartam Kurukshetram Matsyan Sarasvatan Atha Marudhanvam Atikramya Sauviraabhirayoparan Anartan Bhargavopagach Shrantavaho Managvibuhu Kurujangala Panchalan Shurasenan Sayamunan Brahmavartan Kurukshetram Matsyan Sarasvatanatha Marudhanvam Atikramya Sauviraabhirayoparan Anartan Bhargavopagach Shrantavaho Managvibuhu. Please chant.
हरे कृष्णा कुरु जंगल पांचालान सुरसेनान सयामुनान ब्रह्मवर्तम कुरुक्षेत्रम मत्स्यायान सारस्वतान अथ मरुधन्वम अतिक्रम्य सौवीराभिरयोपरान आनर्तान भार्गवो पागाच श्रांतवाहो वनाग्विभुः
कुरुजपनचलं सुरसनेन सयामुनं ब्रह्मावर्तं कुरुक्षेत्रं मत्स्यन् सर्वतन् तथा मारुधनवम् अतिक्रम्य सौवीराभैरयोः परन् अनारतं गवोपगच चरणतवहो मनङ्गविभुः.
Hare Krishna. Guru Jangal Panchalan Sursenan Sayamunan Brahmavaratam Kurukshetram Matsyan Saraswatan Atha Marudanvam Atikramya Sauravirabhirayoho Paran Anartan Bhargavopajac Charantavaho Manag Vibhuhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Kuru Jangala Panchalan Surasenan Sayamunan Brahmavartam Kurukshetram Matsyan Sarasvatan Atha Marudhanman Atikramya Sauvirabhirayoparan Anartan Bhargavopagach Shrantavaho Manag Vibhu.
Gurujangala Panchalan Shurasenan Sayamunan Brahmavartam Kurukshetram Matsyan Saraswatamatha Marudhanvam Atikramya Savirabhirayoparan Anarthan Bhargava Gach Chrantabaho Managvibhu.
Anyone else? Okay. Word to word translation. Kurujangala, the province of Delhi. Panchalan, part of the province Punjab. Shurasenan, part of the province of Uttar Pradesh. Sa, with. Yamunan, the districts on the bank of the Yamuna. Brahmavartam, part of northern Uttar Pradesh. Kurukshetram, the place where the battle was fought. Matsyan, the province Matsya. Saraswatan, part of Punjab. Atha, and so on. Maru, Rajasthan, the land of deserts. Dhanvam, Madhya Pradesh, where water is very scanty. Atikramya, after passing. Sauvira, Saurashtra. Abhirayo, part of Gujarat. Paran, western side. Anartan, the province of Dwaraka. Bhargava, O Shaunaka. Upagat, overtaken by. Shranta, fatigue. Vahaha, the horses. Manak, Vibhuhu, slightly, because of long journey. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O Shaunaka, the Lord then proceeded towards Kurujangala, Panchala, Shurasena, the land on the bank of the river Yamuna, Brahmavarta, Kurukshetra, Matsya, Saraswata, the province of the desert, and the land of scanty water. After crossing these provinces, he gradually reached the Sauvira and Abhira provinces. Then, west of these, reached Dwaraka at last. Purport, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The provinces passed over by the Lord in those days were differently named, but the direction given is sufficient to indicate that he traveled through Delhi Punjab, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Saurashtra, and Gujarat, and at last reached his home province at Dwaraka. We do not gain any profit simply by researching the analogous provinces of those days up to now. But it appears that the desert of Rajasthan and the provinces of scanty water, like Madhya Pradesh, were present even 5,000 years ago. The theory of soil experts that the desert developed in recent years is not supported by the statements of Bhagavatam. We may leave the matter for expert geologists to research because the changing universe has different phases of geological development. We are satisfied that the Lord has now reached his own province, Dwaraka Dham, from the Kuru provinces. Kurukshetra continues to exist since the Vedic age, and it is sheer foolishness when interpreters ignore or deny the existence of Kurukshetra. So we'll read the next verse, text 36. Tatra tatraha tatratyair harihi pratyudyatarhanaha sayam bheje disham paschad gavishto gam gatastada. Translation. Okay, I'll do the word to word also. Tatra tatra, at different places. Ha, it so happened. Tatra tatyaihi, by local inhabitants. Harihi, the personality of Godhead. Pratyudyata arhanaha, being offered presentations and worshipful regards. Sayam, the evening. Bheje, having overtaken. Disham, direction. Paschat, western. Gavishtaha, Gavishtaha, the sun in the sky. Gam, to the ocean. Gataha, having gone. Tada, at that time. Translation. On his journey through these provinces, he was welcomed, worshipped, and given various presentations. In the evening, in all places, the Lord suspended his journey to perform evening rites. This was regularly observed after sunset. Purport. It is said here that the Lord observed the religious principles regularly while he was on the journey. There are certain philosophical speculations that even the Lord is under the obligations of fruitive action. But actually, this is not the case. He does not depend on the action of any good or bad work. Since the Lord is absolute, everything done by him is good for everyone. But when he descends to the earth, he acts for the protection of the devotees and for the annihilation of the impious non-devotees. Although he has no obligatory duty, still he does everything so that others may follow. That is the way of factual teaching. One must act properly himself and teach the same to others. Otherwise, no one will accept one's blind teaching. He is himself the awarder of fruitive results. He is self-sufficient, and yet he acts according to the rulings of the revealed scripture in order to teach us the process. If he does not do so, the common man may go wrong. But in the advanced stage, when one can understand the transcendental nature of the Lord, one does not try to imitate him. This is not possible. The Lord in human society does what is the duty of everyone. But sometimes he does something extraordinary and not to be imitated by the living being. His acts of evening prayer, as stated herein, must be followed by the living being. But it is not possible to follow his mountain lifting or dancing with the gopis. One cannot imitate the sun, which can exhaust water even from a filthy place. The most powerful can do something which is all good, but our imitation of such acts will put us into endless difficulty. Therefore, in all actions, the experienced guide, the spiritual master, who is the manifested mercy of the Lord, should always be consulted, and the path of progress will be assured. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwaraka. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're coming to this is the conclusion of this chapter, Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwaraka. So this chapter began with the inquiry of the sages to Suta Goswami. How did Yudhishthir Maharaj rule the kingdom? Was he able to enjoy the kingdom? That's how the chapter began. And so Yudhishthir Maharaj just got back from Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev left. And then he came back and he took care of Gandhari and Dhritarashtra Maharaj. And then now he took up his responsibility as the emperor. So we saw how the Lord was very pleased with Yudhishthir Maharaj being the emperor, and how during his reign everything was the earth, the clouds, and the cows. Everyone was giving in plenty. Their resources were being supplied in plenty because they were all very cheerful in the rule of Yudhishthir Maharaj. And Lord Krishna stayed in Hastinapur for some time. In fact, he stayed for several months simply to pacify the residents of Hastinapur who were bereaved from their relatives who were killed in the battle of Kurukshetra, especially his sister Subhadra, of course, Kunti Maharani, Gandhari, and others, Satyavati, Uttara. So to pacify them, Krishna stayed back. And then in Krishna's association, all these residents, they practically forgot all their suffering, which was caused as a result of this battle. And then Krishna, thinking of his devotees in Dwaraka, asked Yudhishthir Maharaj a permission to return to Dwaraka. And Yudhishthir Maharaj could not stop Krishna. So he gave him permission. So at that time, all the residents in Hastinapur, they were feeling intense separation from Krishna. They had practically forgotten all their pain because of Krishna's presence. But now when Krishna is about to leave, they couldn't bear that pain. They were able to overcome the pain of separation from their family members who were killed. But now they were unable to bear the pain of Krishna leaving them, even though it was for a short time. So that and in that separation, that is the highlight of this chapter. The love of the residents of of Hastinapur for Krishna, and the ladies, the royal ladies of Hastinapur, when they were seeing Krishna, so Krishna got onto the chariot, and as he is moving slowly, all the ladies, out of shyness because they could not come outside in front of Krishna, they got on top of their roofs, and from there they were looking at Krishna, and they were conversing amongst themselves about Krishna. So these talks are said to be sweeter than the Vedic hymns, their realizations of the Supreme Lord. So they said many wonderful things about Krishna. We read in the past couple of weeks. And finally, they said how the Yadu dynasty is glorified because Krishna appeared in that family. The land of Mathura is glorified because Krishna performed his pastimes in that land. And how the family members, the residents of Dwaraka, they are glorified because they are constantly receiving the sweet smiles and glances of Krishna. How the queens of Krishna in Dwaraka, they are so glorious that they're always able to taste the nectar of the lips of Lord Krishna. The Vrajavadhus, the gopis of Vrindavan, they would faint even expecting such favors from Krishna. How fortunate, how glorious are the queens of Krishna. And Krishna never left them alone. He was always with them. And he would always please them or they would please Krishna. Actually, he would please them, but they would also, let me just check. Yeah. He pleased them. Yeah. They also always made wonderful offerings to Krishna, but Krishna also pleased them by making valuable presentations to these wives. So when they said this last statement, how, Krishna always stayed with them, he never left home. Krishna actually appreciated that statement. Krishna appreciated, and he just glanced at them. Not simply glanced at them, actually he observed, he acknowledged their statements, and he appreciated them, and he smiled back at them, and then he continued, he moved on. And yesterday we read how Yudhishthir Maharaj, out of affection for Krishna, arranged for Chaturangi Sena. So the 4 types of soldiers on horsebacks, on chariots, on elephants, and infantry. He arranged for them to go with Krishna for his protection, just in case enemies may not attack Krishna. Krishna, who is Madhudvisha. Madhudvisha means one who is the enemy of Madhu, the demon Madhu. For his protection, Ajata Shatru, Yudhishthir Maharaj, who has no enemies, he has arranged Chaturangi Sena to protect Madhudvisha. So how is it possible that Krishna, who is capable, he killed Madhu and he killed so many Rakshasas, Daityas. So one who has killed Madhu, who can kill Rakshasas, what are these human earthly kings for him? Nevertheless, Yudhishthir Maharaj, who himself had no enemies, out of fear of enemies, is sending protection for Krishna. So this is surely out of his affection for Krishna. This is just like Krishna, yesterday also Prabhuji brought up that why are devotees offering such opulent flower offerings to Lord Jagannath on Rath Yatra. This is the devotees' love for the Supreme Lord, like that. So Yudhishthir Maharaj also, out of his love, he arranged for this Sena to go with this army, to go with Krishna. And Arjun is also going with Krishna, holding the umbrella parasol, and Satyaki and Uddhava, they are fanning Krishna. In this way, Krishna left Hastinapur. So today's verse is, of course, also the Pandavas, they could not bear the separation from Krishna. So also to send him off, they went with Krishna for quite a distance. In fact, for them to get back to Hastinapur, it would take them several hours. They just kept going with Krishna. Finally, Krishna had to tell them, now you should return. I'll go from here. You please return. So for it would take them several hours to get back to Hastinapur. So they just kept going with Krishna for quite a distance. Now, Krishna traveling from Hastinapur is going through all these places. That is today's verse. What are the places that Krishna visited on his way to Dwaraka? So if you are familiar with the map of India, you will understand from Delhi to Gujarat. But you will see Krishna is not necessarily taking a straight path from Delhi to Gujarat. He's actually going to different places. So His Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj says that there is no specific path that is mentioned here, meaning he is first going to this place and then to that place and then to that place. It's not mentioned like that. What is being said here is he visited all these different places. So the question is, why is Krishna going to Punjab and he's going to Uttar Pradesh and all these places when he had to go to Gujarat? What is the need to go to all those other places and then go to Gujarat? It was simply to meet with his devotees, to satisfy the devotees. That's all. To take, because when he would go there, as we see in the next verse, people are coming and offering their gifts to Krishna. So it is not just a one-day travel that Krishna left from Hastinapur and he reached Gujarat in the evening. No, he traveled for several days. So, O Shaunaka, the Lord then proceeded towards Kurujangala. So Kurujangala is Delhi, Panchala is Punjab, Shurasena is Mathura, then the land on the bank of the river Yamuna. So the land on the bank of river Yamuna means those places where Krishna performed his pastimes on the banks of river Yamuna, Ras Leela, etc. So he visited the land on the bank of the river Yamuna, Brahmavarta. So Brahmavarta is the northern Uttar Pradesh between Himalayas and Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra, he visited Kurukshetra. Matsya is Bihar. Why it is called Matsya? Because many fish were available in that place. That's why it's called Matsya. Saraswata means the land where the river Saraswati flows. So this is also given as Punjab, part of Punjab. The province of the desert, right? So Marubhumi means this is where there is no water, the desert, Rajasthan. And the land of scanty water, Madhya Pradesh. So Srila Prabhupada makes an important point in the purport that Rajasthan was a desert even 5,000 years ago. So it is not, as modern scientists would say, that this is a recent development that the land turned into a desert. It's not like that. It was a desert even 5,000 years ago. And even to this day, Rajasthan is a desert, and in Madhya Pradesh, there is less water. So in this way, Krishna traveled to these different places, finally coming to Gujarat. So in Gujarat, the places mentioned are Sauvira, Abhira, and Anartha. Anartha is actually the name of a king, and on his name, that place is called Anartha. So Anartha is actually the province of Dwaraka. Krishna finally arrived there in Dwaraka. So Srila Prabhupada does not comment much about this. Srila Prabhupada says, let us leave the matter for expert geologists to research, because the changing universe has different phases of geological development. So the universe, there are changes that are happening, but those changes are scheduled changes. It is not, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of day and night. For us who live for many years, we understand that now it is day and then night will come. And after night, we know day will come again. So it's not surprising when we see night. It's not like, oh my God, what has happened? There's a change. There's no light around. We are not surprised because we know after night again, day will come, and after day, night will come. But there are some insects that live only through the night. And before they see the sunlight, their lifespan is finished. Their birth, their growth, then reproduction and death, everything is completed in the span of one night. They never see the light of the sun. So let's say if one of those insects somehow happened to see the sun the next morning, it will be like, what has happened? There's a change, right? Things have changed. The world has changed. So changes that are taking place in the universe, these are scheduled changes. So Srila Prabhupada doesn't comment on that. Srila Prabhupada says the changing universe has different phases of geological development. So let the geologists research about that. But as devotees, our concern is we are satisfied that Krishna has now reached Dwaraka. He left Hastinapur and finally he has come to his destination. So we are happy with that. Yes. So then the next verse, text 36 says, on his journey through these provinces, he was welcomed, worshipped, and given various presentations. In the evening, in all places, the Lord suspended his journey to perform evening rites. So this is very interesting. So every evening at sunset, Krishna would stop his journey and stay in that particular place. He would spend the night in that place. And then so in the evening, he would perform his evening, Sandhya Vandanam, his evening worship. And then he would spend the night. And the next day morning, after performing the morning worship, again, he would leave. Similarly, that day also, for as long as he was traveling, he would stop in the evening at sunset, perform his evening rites, spend the night there. And then the next day morning, he would again perform his morning rites and then he would leave. And this he did regularly. He observed it after sunset and sunrise in the morning. So some philosophers speculate that even Krishna is under the obligation of fruitive action. So let's try to understand what is this fruitive action? What is karma? So in the scriptures, 5 types of karma are given. 5 types of karma. Nitya karma, Naimittika karma, Kamya karma, Nishiddha karma, and Prayashchitta karma. Nitya karma, Naimittika karma, Kamya karma, Nishiddha karma, and Prayashchitta karma. Nitya karma means activities that are prescribed to be done regularly. So there is Nitya karma for different, they differ from one ashram to another, from one varna to another. They are different. So for Brahmanas, what is his Nitya karma, what is his daily duty is not the same as the Nitya karma for a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra. Each one has his own Nitya karma. So for example, this Sandhya Vandanam, the evening rites which Krishna is performing, that will come under Nitya karma. All the Dvijas means the 3 higher castes, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, they perform Sandhya Vandanam. This is a Nitya karma prescribed for them. Then there is Naimittika karma. Naimittika karma means the samskaras. We know the 10 types of samskaras. So these samskaras which are not done regularly, but they will be done on certain occasions. They have to be done. That is called naimittika karma. Kamya karma means karma kanda section, where you have some desire, some material desire. Let's say you want to have a son, or you want to go to the heavenly planets, or you want to become the emperor of the whole world, or you want to be the president of a country, or you want wealth, right? Then in order to get that, what is the activity that you should do? This is given in the Vedas. This is called kamya karma. By performing kamya karma, kama means what? Your desire. Yes? So kamya karma means that karma by which you can fulfill your desire. And then the fourth type is nishiddha. Nishiddha karma means forbidden activity. You should not do this activity. Nishiddha karma. And then there is prayashchitta karma. Prayashchitta means atonement. What if I do the nishiddha karma? What if somehow I commit the forbidden activities? Then how can I atone for that sin? What activities I should do in order to nullify the reaction of that nishiddha karma? That is called prayashchitta karma. So in this way, there are 5 types of karma. Nitya and naimittika karmas, they should be done by everyone. Nitya karma and naimittika karma should be done by everyone. Nishiddha karma, no one should do. But if you do nishiddha karma, then you have to do the prayashchitta karma, the atonement. Kamya karma, that is dependent on what you want. If you want something, then you do that activity. So that is the fruitive work, right? Now the question is, everyone who takes birth in this world, is he obliged to do all these karma, all the 5 types of karma? Is everyone obliged to follow this? That's the question. So Krishna tells in, actually, if I can share the screen, or you can also share, Mataji. It is Canto 11, Chapter 20, Text 7, 8, and 9. I don't know if Mataji is there.
I am here. Can you just repeat that one more time, please?
Canto 11, Chapter 20.
Canto 11, 20.
Yeah. And you can just show the translations. That's okay.
And
7, 8, and 9. Just show the all 3 translations. The first page.
okay.
So who should be doing this karma? That's what we are trying to understand. So in text 7, or let's see text 6. This is Lord Krishna speaking to Uddhava. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Uddhava, because I desire that human beings may achieve perfection, I have presented 3 paths of advancement: the path of knowledge, the path of work, and the path of devotion." So the path of knowledge is what? Jnana. The path of work is karma or karma yoga. And the path of devotion is bhakti. So Krishna is saying that because I desire that human beings may achieve perfection, I have presented 3 paths of advancement. Besides these 3, there is absolutely no other means of elevation. So what is our problem? We are in the material world. Why we are in the material world? Because we have turned away from the Supreme Lord. We are in ignorance and we have come to this material world. We are conditioned. As Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say, there is only one problem in this world: lack of Krishna consciousness, isn't it? So that is our problem. Now, to once again come out of this mess, Krishna is offering 3 paths of advancement. One is Jnana, Bhakti, and then there is the third one. It's not exactly karma. This is called karmarpanam. But nevertheless, for now, let's say the path of work. Now, the question is, who should do karma, who should take to jnana, and who should take to bhakti? Text 7. Among these three paths, jnana yoga, the path of philosophical speculation, is recommended for those who are disgusted with material life. Who is qualified to take to jnana path? One who is disgusted with material life and are thus detached from ordinary fruitive activities. So, such a person who enters jnana marga, he does not need to do karma. He does not need to do karma. Who is completely disgusted with this world and is detached from ordinary fruitive activities, then he enters into jnana, he is not required to do karma. Those who are not disgusted with material life, having many desires yet to fulfill, they are not disgusted. They still have some hopes of becoming happy in this world. They have many desires yet to fulfill. Should seek perfection through the path of karma yoga. That means if I still have, just like in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada, that shloka, Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Radhokshaje. Right? The highest dharma. What is dharma? Dharma means duty. Prabhupada translates dharma as duty. So duty is what? The work that we do, isn't it? What is the highest occupational duty for human being? Highest occupational duty is devotional service to the Supreme Lord, isn't it? That's the highest occupational duty. But yeah, those who are not disgusted with material life, having many desires yet to fulfill, should seek perfection through the path of karma. That means the goal is bhakti, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there. Why am I qualified to do karma now? Because I'm still seeking happiness through work. I still have a lot of material desires to be fulfilled. Then in that case, I should not give up work. The point is, I cannot give up work. I must work. Nevertheless, my work should be done in such a way that through my work, I can connect with the Supreme. You understand? So, karma kanda is not being recommended here. It's not that you work like this and you fulfill your desires. That's not the point. I still have desires, so therefore I must work in this world. But while I'm working, I should still connect with the Supreme by offering the results of my work to Krishna. Then it becomes karma yoga. And karma yoga is also a path of perfection. But who takes to karma yoga and who takes to jnana yoga, who takes to bhakti yoga, that is the question. Someone who still has desires in this world. I want a nice, beautiful house. I want a home where I have my own kitchen and I can cook whatever I like to cook, right? I want to raise a family. So I still have some desires. You do karma. But even through karma, you can still attain perfection provided you connect with the Supreme. How do you connect with the Supreme? So why I have to do karma? Because I have desires. I qualify for karma. I don't qualify for Ananya Bhakti yet. So when we say Bhakti, the third path, let's look at text 8. If somehow or other, by good fortune, one develops faith in hearing and chanting my glories, Krishna speaking to Uddhava. If somehow or other, by good fortune, one develops faith in hearing and chanting my glories, such a person, being neither disgusted with nor very much attached to material life, should achieve perfection through the path of loving devotion to me. So what is the qualification for bhakti? Who should take to the path of bhakti? The only qualification for bhakti is he should have shraddha. He should have faith. If he has faith, what is shraddha? Shraddha means if I simply render devotional service to Krishna, or in other words, only devotional service to Krishna can give me the highest result. Only devotional service can fulfill all my desires and give me the best result, the highest result. When someone has this type of conviction, then he is said to have shraddha. And anyone who has this type of shraddha in bhakti, he is qualified to take to the path of bhakti. Now, it is not just a matter of saying, yes, I have faith. It has to translate in action also. If I have faith that bhakti can do everything, then why will I still go and work and do some job and, do other things? I will not do that. All my endeavors at every moment will be to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That will be pure devotional service, Ananya Bhakti. So the condition for bhakti, so when we say bhakti, bhakti means pure devotional service, Ananya Bhakti. The condition is at every moment, 24/7, either through my body, mind, or words, I am in touch with the Supreme Lord through devotional service. Through body, mind, or words, I am in touch with the Supreme Lord through devotional service. That is Ananya Bhakti. So when someone enters into Ananya Bhakti, so those four conditions, Anyabhilashita Shunyam, he has no other desire. Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, that means his devotional service is not interrupted by Jnana, Karma, Adi, other things. That means my devotional service is continuous. It is not broken at any point by any karma or jnana. Even though I may be doing karma, my bhakti is not interrupted, either in my mind or through my speech. I'm constantly in touch with the Supreme Lord. Although with my hands I may be doing some work. Then also it will be considered as Ananya Bhakti. Only when someone is on the platform of Ananya Bhakti, he does not need to do any karma. He's not required to do any karma. As long as I'm not on that platform, I must do karma. So then the next question is, we are doing some bhakti, but we are not really on the platform of Ananya Bhakti. Then does that mean we should do all those karmas? Nitya karma, Naimittika karma, Kamya karma. Should we do all those? Prayashchitta karma, when we do something wrong, then we have to atone for them? No. So what we are doing right now is we are trying to, so what is the condition here? Text 8. One develops faith in hearing and chanting my glories. So this hearing and chanting about the glories of the Lord has to be continuous, 24 hours. It's not 24 hours right now. It's happening maybe 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, like that. Or maybe a little bit more, maybe 8 hours in a day I'm able to do. Keep on increasing that. Try to increase. How that will increase? When my faith, my shraddha increases, then the time I spend in pure devotional service, that will also increase, and the others will come down. Whatever karma, jnana, other things that I'm doing, they will come down. So while doing karma, we should side by side try to develop our faith in hearing and chanting. So that will be called karma mishra or jnana mishra bhakti. That means while performing direct devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. While doing direct devotional service, side by side, we are also doing some karma. We are also doing some jnana. Although this karma or jnana is done to assist in bhakti. I'm working so that I can maintain my body. And by that, when I'm healthy, when I'm taken care of physically, then I'm able to perform bhakti. This is Karma Mishra Bhakti. And even Karma Mishra Bhaktas can be liberated. They will be liberated. Because their main goal is bhakti only. Yes. So the point is, when one enters into Ananya Bhakti, then he doesn't have to do any karma. There's no need to do any karma. But unless one is on that platform, if he simply gives up his karma, what is karma now? Now the next question can be, what is karma? Karma means the instructions, dharma, which is given in the Vedas. The Vedas that give the prescribed duties, the dharma which is enjoined in the Vedas for the different groups. Again, who are these different groups, different varnas? Based on my psychophysical condition. Yes, or you can say according to my modes. Whatever duties are prescribed for me, that is my dharma. Again, in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada explains there is material duties and there is spiritual duties. So for us, somebody who has actually surrendered to a spiritual master, then my duty would be to follow the instructions given by the spiritual master. That is the sure way of success. So that's the last line that Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, that therefore, in all actions, the experienced guide, the spiritual master, who is the manifested mercy of the Lord, should always be consulted, and the path of progress will be assured. So even when we take to bhakti path, of course, so once somebody enters into Ananya Bhakti, there's no need to do any karma. He's not required to do. Even the Nitya and Naimittika karmas, he does not have to do. He's not obliged to do. The Sandhya Vandanam, that evening worship, morning worship that somebody does, which is actually enjoined in the scriptures. One must do. But when you enter Bhakti, it's not required. But when I say you enter Bhakti, what is that Bhakti? Ananya Bhakti. Somebody like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, right? Or Srila Prabhupada. Nevertheless, there's another point here. They're not required to do, but still they follow, right? Chanting Gayatri in the morning, noon and evening. That is Sandhya Vandanam. Why they do that? To set an example to the society. So somebody who's already liberated, he doesn't need to do these duties. Nevertheless, he does it because the people around him are not liberated. They are not Mahabhagavad devotees like him. So he sets an example for the rest of the people around him, so that by following his example, they will make progress in Krishna consciousness. So the same principle is applied here to Krishna also. Krishna is performing his duties regularly. Every evening he's performing Sandhya Vandanam. That does not mean that now, because he's qualified to do karma, therefore he is doing karma yoga. No. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the one who's giving the fruit of all types of karma that people are doing. He's not under any karma. He doesn't need to do anything. Then why he is doing? He's doing because yad yad acharati shreshtas tad tad evetaro janaha. Sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Why Krishna is coming to this world? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya, to re-establish the principles of religion. Of course, the best is to take to bhakti, but not everyone qualifies for bhakti. We have to raise ourselves to the platform of bhakti. But until then, if we don't do karma, then we will do vikarma. We have to do something. We have this body, we have these senses, and we have time. How will we spend our time? by doing some activity. If we are not doing Ananya Bhakti, then what will we do? Either we will do karma. It's better to do karma, which is enjoined in the scriptures, than do vikarma. You act without any regulation, no rules, you do whatever you feel like doing. That's not karma, that is vikarma. When we do vikarma, we go to hell. So therefore, it is better you perform karma, which is enjoined in the scriptures. By that, you're actually making some gradual progress, and side by side, you sincerely try to increase your bhakti by spending more and more time in chanting and hearing about the Lord. And gradually, when we come to the level of Ananya Bhakti, there's no need to perform any of these. And of course, there are details. Should we perform Shraddha ceremony? Should we perform, elaborate wedding ceremony? Should we do this and that? The Naimitika karmas and Nitya karmas, the details. Well, our acharyas have given in the Vaishnav way what are the samskaras that we should follow, or we should follow. It's given the simplified version, because those samskaras actually fall under bhakti. They don't come under karma. You can do those samskaras, because all these samskaras, for example, if you see weddings in ISKCON, they chant the Mangala Charana in the wedding, and they chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is the wedding in ISKCON weddings. So that is also bhakti. It is not just some karma, so that way we can do those samskaras. But time, place, and circumstance, that's why Acharya is there. Srila Prabhupada, he has come and he's given us the most important. So always we should consult with the spiritual master, with the Acharya, and then if we lead our path, then progress is assured, Srila Prabhupada is saying. One more point that is made here in the purport is that, yes, great personalities, they perform activities for everyone to follow. But at the same time, certain activities of the great personalities, they are extraordinary. They cannot be imitated. So we should understand what are the activities that are to be followed and what are those that cannot be followed. Srila Prabhupada is saying Krishna's observing evening rites, Sandhya Vandanam, that should be followed. But his lifting of Govardhan, if anyone attempts to do that, what will happen to him? Srila Prabhupada is saying, what will happen to him? He will be put into endless difficulty. Or someone thinks that, oh, Krishna has so many wives, I will have 10 wives. What will happen to him? These things cannot be imitated. Lord Shiva drank an ocean of poison. If anyone tries to drink one drop of that ocean, what will happen? He'll be finished. So we should always understand our position. We are small, we are limited. The Lord is great. Nevertheless, his activities which he performs to set an example for us, those should be followed. So with that, we conclude this chapter, Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka. And the next chapter is Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwarka. So that we will begin from tomorrow. I will end here. If there's any questions or comments, please welcome. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji, Kalpesh Prabhu and Sonia Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much for this discourse. Really appreciate diving into details of karmas, especially, and breaking down the all different types of karmas. I have a couple of questions. First, let me put all the questions and you can answer whichever in the order which you feel appropriate. The first one is, while we do any activities, how do we make sure the Lord is enjoyed? Because all the activities we do, it would be through our senses and mind, and it's a gathering process, what we have gathered. So that is one question. Secondly, I got a little bit confused in the bhakti. If we keep on increasing the chanting then how do we really maintain our body, like a maintenance of our body, if the chanting process would be like for a long extended hours. And third is according to the modes of nature, there are different modes, and what are the prescribed duties based on the modes, and is it to be predetermined that I am on certain modes, or I thought it's a it's a combination. I mean, it's kind of combination. It's not always same mode. So how would we see this, all those things, for karmas? Particularly karmas looks practical to me in my life, but I'm not fully sure. I get confused between bhakti sometime and karma.
So
Thank you.
we'll take one at a time. So the first question was, how do you know that you're satisfying Krishna with your work or with your offering? Because your point is they're being made with your material senses and the material mind. So how do you know if Krishna is pleased with that? So bhavagrahi janardana. Actually, even the material things that we have, they are not separate from Krishna. That is also Krishna's energy only. Nothing is separate from Krishna. The problem is when I think that this is mine. Yes, I have earned this and I'm giving this to Krishna. That's where the problem comes. This is mine and I'm giving a gift to Krishna. But the fact is, nothing is mine. My body is also his. I am also his. This world is also his. Everything is his. So um, how can you ascertain that Krishna is being pleased by the offering? Srila Prabhupada says this, that you bring whatever offering you're bringing in great humility. You go in front of Krishna and say, Krishna, this is yours. I didn't make the mango. I didn't make the fruit. This is all yours. I simply got the ingredients which you have created. I put them together. I'm just making this offering. Please accept this. So if that is my mood, so what is important? Bhava. Bhava grahi janardana. Krishna is looking, he's not accepting the ingredients, the things that we are offering. Because the things are his anyway. Through the medium of the things, he is accepting our love for him, our bhava. So that humility is important. That this is not mine, this is all yours, but still I'm offering it to you. Please accept it, my Lord. Because if Krishna accepts my offering, my life becomes perfect. So my only thing is that Krishna may accept my offering. So you are anticipating, you're hoping that the Lord may accept it. And if that is your mood, then the Lord is pleased to accept it. Did that answer your question? Kalpish?
Yeah. So essence is you're directing that our feelings within us, which is which will be a proof for our consciousness.
Yes.
That okay, am I doing this for pleasing really Krishna, or am I just gratifying my senses by
Correct.
doing like an acting? Okay, understood. Okay, thank you for that.
Sure. So second question was, what was the second question, Prabhuji? About bhakti and karma?
Yeah, I got a little confused. Like if we start chanting for extended hours, how do we really maintain our bodies?
Yes. So that is why, Prabhuji, that is why it is said, as long as I'm not convinced of this, means I'm not willing to take that risk, means I need to do karma. That's the point. So as you're doing now, let's say you're chanting for 1 hour or you're chanting for 2 hours a day and you're doing some bhakti, some service, whatever you're doing, by performing that bhakti, based on the sincerity of your bhakti, your shraddha will increase. So now if I have 10% of shraddha, by practicing this bhakti, that shraddha will gradually keep increasing. What is that shraddha? Faith that simply by doing bhakti, all my needs will be fulfilled. Right now, I don't have that faith. I feel if I don't do my work, Who will pay my bills? How will I live here? This is not practical. That means I still don't have full faith in bhakti. I still don't have. So then what should I do? Then you should work. That's the whole class. You should work. But while working side by, because simply working is not the goal of life. The goal of work also, now why the Vedas are giving, why Krishna is saying this karma is also a path for perfection. I am doing karma because I don't have full faith in bhakti yet. But while doing karma also, I can connect with the Supreme by offering the results of my karma to the Supreme Lord. But we shouldn't think that, yes, I can choose whichever one I like. So karma is also one path. So I will choose karma. No, the goal is Ananya Bhakti only. But right now I don't have qualification for Ananya Bhakti. Therefore, I'm doing karma yoga. But by doing karma yoga, I'm hoping to come to the level of pure unalloyed devotional service. So yes, how will I pay my bills? How will I survive? As long as I have these concerns, I must work. I must work. But while working, what is being said is, if you're doing just like if you're doing 2 hours, gradually increase. You won't do it. And how we will increase? That will also happen when your Shraddha increases. So let's say on weekends, you do, like during weekdays, you do one job, just as an example, not in your case. But let's say somebody is doing a job during the weekdays, and on weekends, he does another job, extra job, so that he can get some more money. So then, as he's chanting and he's performing devotional service, now he will think, well, I can survive with my main job. I don't really need to do more work on weekends. Let me use that time to do some, maybe I can go out on book distribution on that day, or maybe I can do some deity worship on that day. Let me go and do some service in the temple on that day. Let me, have a satsang. We'll sit together and have Bhagavatam discussion that day. That means you're gradually cutting down on your karma and you're increasing your bhakti. How you're able to do that? Because your Shraddha is increasing. So how your Shraddha will increase? By associating with devotees and by hearing from them. What are you hearing? Scriptures, bhakti scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, in the association of devotees. As you keep hearing, your Shraddha keeps increasing. When your Shraddha increases, then naturally you will start increasing your activities in devotional service and you'll start decreasing your karma. That's how it's going to work. It won't happen all of a sudden. It might happen when someone has some special mercy. That's a different thing. But in general, you have to increase your faith gradually. And how you will increase the faith? Like this, whatever you're doing now, sitting in the association of devotees and hearing Krishna Katha. This is the way to increase our faith. And as the faith increases proportionately, the karma will go down and our devotional activities will increase. And when we get Purna Shraddha means 100%, then I will not do anything else because I will have that conviction. Krishna is providing for the elephants and for birds and everyone. They are not going and doing work. They get shelter, they get food. Why Krishna won't give me food? I am chanting Krishna's names. I have dedicated my life to Krishna's service. Krishna won't maintain me. He will maintain me. This is the conviction, of a pure devotee, right? Therefore, he can go anywhere and live anywhere. But can I imitate that such a person now in my present situation? No, I should not imitate because I don't have that type of conviction. I don't have that type of Shraddha. So I should gradually increase my Shraddha. Is that clear, Kalpesh Prabhu?
Yeah, that is clear. But one of the things which was came in my head is like, for example, if somebody has a skill of real good, let's assume a doctor. If he can he translate his like a service as an occupational duty into compassion by performing bhakti, like helping others? Would that be also seen as the bhakti? Let's say he may not have a time to read Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, but if he instead of reading that, if he spends his time choosing to help out people who are suffering with disease or like cannot pay for the medical bills, would that be also seen as a bhakti, or it's a pious activity?
So bhakti, there is three levels, Prabhuji, three types. There is Aropa Siddha Bhakti, there is Karma Mishra Bhakti, and there is Sakshat Bhakti. Sakshat Bhakti means direct devotional service. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and there is more. There are 64 items given in Nectar of Devotion. Living in a holy place, the temple, all that. All that comes in Sakshat Bhakti. And there's many more, thousands of more Sakshat Bhakti given by Srila Sanatan Goswami. So that is Sakshat Bhakti. Aropa Siddha Bhakti means that is also Bhakti. You do your work and you're not doing any direct devotional service. You're not doing Shravanam Kirtanam. You're working as a doctor and you offer the fruit of your work to Krishna. You offer the result, some donation you give. So then your working as a doctor is also counted as Bhakti. That much of your work is counted as Bhakti, the result of which you're offering to Krishna. And whatever you're not offering to Krishna, that's not counted as bhakti. Nevertheless, don't take this as Ananya Bhakti. These are different, there are different gradations in bhakti. So this is this is one level of bhakti. When I was telling you earlier of Karma Mishra Bhakti, that would, I think we will all fall in that category, where we are chanting Hare Krishna, which is Sakshat Bhakti. Side by side, we are doing some work. That work is also counted as bhakti. That's why it's called Karma Mishra Bhakti. Your chanting is not called Karma Mishra Bhakti. That is Sakshat Bhakti. Your work as a doctor, and you're working, why you're working? So that you can earn your livelihood, and as you said, you will also help others. But with the result of that, you're working so that you can, your goal is to perform bhakti only. Your goal is to perform Sakshat Bhakti, but right now you feel that you want to do, or not you want to, you have to do this work. And of course, while doing that, you want to help others. You want to help others. Well, again, the motivation is important. If you are simply doing it to do good to others, then that will be pious activity. But if you're doing some service for, let's say there are some doctors, like there's Bhaktivedanta Hospital in India, right? So when they come there, they treat their disease also, but simultaneously they get some Krishna consciousness. So their motive is to give Krishna consciousness to them, and they're using their skills in Krishna's service. Yeah, that is bhakti. That is bhakti.
That's a good point. That's very good point. Yeah. Okay.
And the last one was about modes.
So basically, what my question was, you recall the question is modes. I thought it is the modes are changing every moment of our stages of life, and if is that a predetermined mode that and if that is so, what is the prescribed duties for predetermined modes?
It's generally by birth, Prabhuji. When they say that you belong to a particular mode, it is taken by birth. That you are born in of course, birth is there, but then after you take birth, just like you take birth in a Brahmana family, then chances are that your work will be that of a Brahmana. Yes. And then in general, there may be some exceptions, but in general, then your work is related to Brahmana and your inclination is related to Brahmana. So you're considered to be in the mode of goodness. So then you have duties of a Brahmana that you do like that. But in Kali Yuga, we don't have that, right? So we don't have, what mode do I belong to? What is my duty? So in Vedic society, it is very clear. The society is divided into clear varnas. There is Brahmana class, there is Kshatriya class, there is Vaishya Shudra class. This is the duty of Brahmana, this is the duty, and then you follow that particular duty. So in Kali Yuga, everything is mixed up. That's why we are very fortunate that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and has given us the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So whatever job Srila Prabhupada has come, and so basically that's what we will be doing. So we cannot say it's karma mishra, it is vikarma mishra. Why vikarma? Because the work that we are doing, the software jobs or whatever jobs we are doing,
Yeah.
it's not really enjoined in the scriptures. And all the ugra karma, right? The factories and the trucks and all this. This is not what is enjoined in the scriptures. Nevertheless, somehow we are here. So while we are doing this work, our goal is to build our Shraddha gradually
Mhm.
and do whatever is needed as far as possible to simplify our lifestyle and not just expand our empire, right? Lead an honest, as far as possible, lifestyle, and then try to focus on increasing Shraddha. Shraddha, how you'll increase? By hearing and chanting.
Yeah.
And then always, whatever steps we take in life, important decisions, we should always make sure that it is guided by the spiritual master. That is the key, because they can guide us properly. Then we can surely achieve success like that.
So I came across in a previous lecture, I think so, I don't recollect, but it was said that we are, like, I'm not telling to anybody, I'm telling Prabhupada said in a very general way that everybody is a Shudra in Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
Everybody is a Shudra, and which means, but by practicing Krishna consciousness, he can transcend himself.
Yeah, that is Janmana Jayate Shudra Samskarat Bhaved Dvijaha. So by birth, everyone is Shudra, and also Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha. In Kali Yuga, everyone is Shudra because nobody is observing any samskaras. But by birth, everyone is born a Shudra, but by samskaras, he becomes a Dvija, twice born. So, yeah, that is there. So, yes, for us, if we take to Krishna consciousness, so through samskaras, one becomes, Dvija. Not that simply by taking birth in a particular family, automatically I'm a Brahmana. No, by taking birth in a family, I have the facility to actually be a Brahmana by following that. So Prabhupada gives the example of a high court judge. A high court judge's son is not automatically taken as a high court judge. He will have to go to college and he will have to pass the exams and then become a qualified judge. Simply by taking birth, he doesn't become. So that is there. By birth, one is not qualified. But when you take birth in a particular situation, you're endowed with certain facilities where you can actually grow in that particular field, either as a Vaishnava or as a Brahmana. That advantage is there, like that.
Yep. No, I get your point. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for all clarification.
Hare Krishna. So if there's no other questions, we can end the class here. It's already 9:14.
Yes, we can end the class here, but we have to thank you for an unbelievable, teasing out all the details. That was absolutely wonderful. And again, I was just appreciating the fact of the way Prabhupada named this society, consciousness. Pay attention to, like you were saying, the bhava, in what mood are we doing, whatever it is we are doing. And thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We will meet again tomorrow morning at 7:50. I think all this week I'll keep making announcements that next Saturday is going to be the annual picnic, Panihati style picnic. It's going to be in Delaware. So please, all of you, please join us. The information will all be there in the newsletter that will come out. Hopefully all of you will be able to make it to that picnic. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mother Archana Bhakti. Wonderful class.
Thank you, Dronacharya. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Namo namaha.
Jai.